amongst the 247 that tested positive as of the updates today. So joining me tonight are reporters David Muthoka and Mwangi Maina for the Good Vibes segment. Welcome to the program. Let's look at more of what you expect. The government at pains to explain exactly how many Kenyans may have been exposed to COVID-19, even as KEMRI report indicates millions could be infected. Senators invite EACC to investigate a suspected breach of tender laws in Charity Ngilu's Kitui County. Plus, in Good Vibes tonight, we show you how a group of youth in Mathare slums turned a stalled government project into a prized resource. And tonight we bring you the story of the people who have been helping you make sense of the global pandemic. Welcome back. My name is Linda Lela. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Ann Wairimu. We welcome your feedback. Hashtag Good Vibes. We would love to hear what you have to say about the great stories that we have tonight. Remember, the weekend is here, and we equally want to hear you interact with us on hashtag Weekend News right here, and equally drop your SMSs or your messages on the numbers rolling down on your screen, and equally on our Twitter handles at Linda_Lela at Tv47. Now, let's get to it, as COVID-19 cases in the country now stand at 7,188 after 247 more people tested positive the last 24 hours in the spread across counties. Nairobi County is leading with 153 cases, Mombasa 35, Kajiado 15, Busia 12, Kiambu 12, Uasin Gishu 4, Machakos 4, Garissa 4, Murang'a 2, Nakuru 2, whereas counties of Siaya, Lamu and Nyamira had one case each. Now the total number of recoveries has risen to 2,148 after 39 more people were discharged from various hospitals across the country, as the death toll now stands at 154 after 2 more people succumbed to the virus. And still on matters COVID, a report by Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, Wellcome Trust indicates that 2.6 million Kenyans have been exposed to COVID-19. However, the government says the report may not be perfect representation of the virus in the country, as the samples used were from blood donors of a young age. Zainab Mohammed with the details.
A recent report by Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI Wellcome Trust, has caused alarm among Kenyans, as the report indicates that 2.6 million Kenyans have already been exposed to COVID-19. However, the government says the report was not to be released to the public just yet.
I am aware about that study, and I know that that information has somehow gotten out into the public domain. We were really not ready yet for it to be out there in the public domain.
According to the Health CAS Dr. Rashid Aman, the report that was collected from blood donation centers across the country may not be a perfect representation of the country, as the samples used were from blood donors of a young age.
I have to say that, one, the sample size is fairly small. Two, it may not be perfectly representative of the country, because these are samples from blood donors. We know blood donor samples, particularly at this time of the pandemic, are biased in a way, because most of the samples that we are getting right now in the blood donor bank is people who are donating blood for their relatives who may require blood transfusion. And when that is not the case, even then our blood donation mostly comes from volunteers in the younger age groups, school children going, university students, and so on.
Aman further says the RDT test used in the sample collection for the research cannot conclusively confirm an individual is COVID-19 positive, as it uses antibodies to test the exposure.
When we talk about seroprevalence, what we mean is we want to look at people who have developed antibodies to the coronavirus.
KEMRI Nairobi Program Director Edwin Baraza says the research is only preliminary as the data is still being analyzed for a more conclusive report.
As mentioned, these findings are only preliminary, so we are continuing with the analysis and you will get more data as and when we finalize on the analysis.
The report by KEMRI Wellcome Trust Institute confirms many people's fears that the number of COVID-19 cases in the country may just be a little higher than the number of people who have been diagnosed with the virus. The larger population might just be in the asymptomatic bracket. For TV47, I'm Zainab Mohammed.
Now, Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu is in more trouble after Senate Public Accounts and Investment Committee invited the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate procurement irregularities in her county government. Now, this after the committee established systematic violations of the procurement laws and process in the Governor Charity Ngilu's led administration.
Appearing before the Senate County Public Accounts and Investments Committee, embattled Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu was hard-pressed to explain why her administration violated procurement laws and processes in award of more than 260 million shillings contracts.
The quotations were opened, evaluated, awarded, LPOs issued on the same day. How many companies participated? And then lastly, were these works given to one company or different companies?
If the governor could not avail the documents to the auditors that time, with all the engagements, what stopped her today to provide to this committee to prove to us that they are actually there?
The county officers, according to the Auditor General, either violated laws and processes in the award of the contracts or failed to provide supporting evidence, including procurement documents.
There is a clear and indefensible violation of law here. That's not contestable. What we are trying to look at, the method, all of these others, is from the response they have given us, which we are entitled to. But even this response, even if it was true, it still does not address this audit issue. This response, even if it was true, it does not. But even the response itself, even if it is true, it is still ridiculous.
Further, Ngilu was at pains to explain why 1.5 billion shillings was not absorbed in 2017-2018 financial year, a matter senators termed as misappropriated funds for lack of documentation.
For me, when I looked at when I was even advised about this, I saw an opportunity for the disadvantaged groups, the women especially, and I'll make a point of going to collect all those who supplied.
You cannot break the law and say, the reason why I broke the law is because I wanted to help women and youth. There is a law. When you're doing your procurement plans, then you factor in the fact that you want to help women and youth so that your decisions are aligned with the law.
According to the report, the procurement team used a request for quotation method and a total of 26 suppliers were given the contract to supply various quantities of pesticides. The committee established that the tenders were awarded in clusters, which is against the provision of procurement laws.
On random questions from this audit report, there is no documentation, there is no satisfactory response to any of the issues that we have picked on this audit report.
Because all issues are hinged around procurement. And at this stage, I think we'll ask the ESCC to look more deeply into this matter of procurement in the Kitui County.
This comes even as the backdrop of a motion of impeachment against the Kitui County boss. Some of the allegations leveled against her include misappropriation of funds. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47 Nairobi.
All right, now the World Bank has today funded counties in order for them to improve the health sector. The funding is to happen in 2 sessions, as Council of Governors Chairperson Wycliffe Oparanya indicated that the first session will have counties receive 1.4 billion shillings and 30 million shillings each in the second session.
As the country continues to battle the coronavirus pandemic, the World Bank has offered a helping hand by funding county governments. The counties are expected to receive 1.4 billion shillings in the first phase, where each county will pocket 30 million shillings.
This year, we are happy to release to the counties level 1 of this facility, which is Kenya shillings 1.4 billion. And this is money that has already been disbursed to the counties, and the governors have already confirmed that the money has been received.
The funding is to help the counties improve their health capacity during the COVID-19 pandemic and the future. This comes even as the counties of Kiambu and Kakamega were praised for their efforts in combating the dreaded virus.
Most of this money is actually going towards improvement of our health facilities and improvement of health services. Congratulate Governor Nyoro. Kiambu County is one of the very well-performing counties.
Moreover, the second phase will see that 8 counties share 4.6 billion shillings in accordance with the usage of the money allocated initially. Nairobi County, Wajir, Garissa, Migori, Homa Bay, Embu and Taita Taveta counties are among the counties that will miss on this mega share.
The second level, level 2 of this KDSP program is Kenya shillings 4.6 billion. But this is not going to all the 47 counties. It is being released to 38 counties that have qualified.
The Council of Governors Chair assured that the funds will be utilized for the benefit of Kenyans.
The counties will use this money to support the fight of COVID at the grassroots level. They will be more prepared, and I'm hopeful that all of them will be able to achieve the 300-bed capacity.
As we release this money, we want to urge prudent use of this money. We want to urge that this money be directed towards improvement of focus on the response by each counties because of what lies ahead of us.
Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
And on that very story, TV47 Weekend will be taking a short break. Remember, there's still more to come your way, including the Good Vibes segment. So we take that breather. We'll be right back with more. Keep talking to us. Hashtag TV47 Weekend. And welcome back to TV47 Weekend. Let's proceed. And the Deputy President, William Ruto, has given the clearest indication that things are not well with him in the ruling Jubilee party. The DP dismissed party's regrouping efforts with an intention of clipping his 2022 presidential bid, saying that they shall be in for a rude shock. Kevin Kitui reports.
Speaking during the burial of Nyokosei Tarus at Chepkatet in Nandi County, the DP said despite the challenges facing the Jubilee party, there is a need for the leaders in the ruling party to remain united.
Wana Jubilee na Wakenya wote tusikubali kurudi katika siasa ya migawanyiko na ukabila. Sote vile tulianza 2013 na tukasema hatutaki tena kisirani na mambo ya siasa ya ukabila. Mimi nawauliza wote, sisi wote tuungane.
The DP broke his silence after several days of maintaining a low profile, following the purge of his key allies in both the Senate and National Assembly plum leadership positions. DP Ruto asked Kenyans not to lose focus on working together for the posterity of the country at the expense of the push and pull in the ruling party.
Kazi nyingi tumetekeleza katika Kenya kwa sababu ya uongozi wa pamoja. Tumejenga reli, tumejenga barabara, tumeunganisha stima, tumeweka maji, tumejenga TTIs kwa sababu ya kuendesha siasa bila ukabila na bila ya kutenga watu wengine.
The DP told off his opponents, saying that they are regrouping moves in order to clip his 2022 State House bid will be met with a rude shock, arguing that he is well prepared for them. Calvin Chitwa, TV47, Nandi County.
Now, the national government will continue engaging county governments on matters development. This was revealed after a meeting that brought together officials from the national government and leaders from Murang'a County government in Nairobi today.
With a focus on development, the two levels of government have embarked on a scheme that will ensure projects are implemented effectively across all counties. Speaking after meeting Murang'a County leadership Friday, the National Development Implementation Chair and Interior CS Fred Matiang'i has asked all elected leaders to ensure all projects initiated are fully implemented. The CS adding such meetings will be a norm in all counties.
So we will stay on this trajectory, so as they have said, and we commit that we will ensure the resources go to what they are intended to, and we will ensure that the development is delivered as we have been required and we are expected to do by our head of state and by the people of Kenya, as it were. I thank these leaders. We've had very cordial discussions, and as you have noticed, this is not the first time. These are the kind of discussions we're having recently with leaders across the country.
Leaders from Murang'a County have urged the national government to upscale development in the region, with agriculture and healthcare topping the list of demands. The leaders vying to support President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration.
For Murang'a County, we thought of having this meeting to discuss issues development. We have discussed issues concerning roads, we have discussed issues concerning health, we have discussed issues concerning education, and we are very happy for the work that has been done by His Excellency in our region.
He has emphasized on the issue of Kenneth Matiba Hospital, which was committed by the President some time back, and this is a spirit. So our next step is that we shall now do a review session in Murang'a, whereby as leaders we come together, we review together, and then we hit the ground, we go and directly appraise activities on the ground, and we agree on what needs to be done for those activities to happen.
The recent meetings between national and county governments are coming at a time when President Uhuru Kenyatta is left with 2 years to complete his tenure. Eli Logova, TV47, Nairobi.
And addressing a different issue, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has vowed to maintain the fight to streamline the betting industry in the country, the CS says. While he respects the decisions made by Parliament regarding the reduction of the taxes, the ministry will seek an amendment to the Finance Bill 2020 that scrapped the 20% tax on betting.
And we are going to remain strict. Where challenges have been in the past, and I think it's fair to be very sincere with the public, Challenges have been at the licensing point, where we have licensed people in the past who ought not to have been licensed in the first place. And since a year ago, we have walked away from that. No one has got to worry. So many people have called me, religious leaders, faith-based organization leaders. I just want to assure everyone, we're not going back on that policy. We want sanity to prevail in the country. That thing was very badly managed in the past. It almost destroyed our families and our children. We will not go back to it. And under no circumstances we are going to allow that kind of madness to continue. We cannot allow, criminals, money launderers, from some places in Eastern Europe to come and do in our country what they can't do in their country.
And elsewhere, the business community of Nakuru town has called on the county government to reconsider a gradual recall to their usual spots of trade. Now, they want the county government to allow matatus and market traders back into the central business district as a way of reopening the economy. The county government of Nakuru banned matatus and traders from operating in the CBD as a measure to contain the spread of the deadly coronavirus, as Nancy Kimuyu reports.
This is what Nakuru town CBD looks like. Shops closed, roads almost empty, the bus terminus, which was always packed with buses, matatus and traders, is now being occupied by street children who gather here to play football. Lucy Wangoi, a trader, says that her service has had its own downtimes ever since they were shifted from their usual point of operations.
Vile hii ugonjwa iliingia kwa hii town, tulirudi nyumbani. Tukakaa kama mwezi moja, alafu tukaona sasa njaa imetuuma tukarudi. Juu hakuna pali pengine tunaweza toa hata shilingi. Sasa tunakujaga mguu jioni tunarudi mguu. Ukikuja ukipika chai, unashinda na hiyo chai hapo baka jioni. Juu tulikuwa tunategemea watu wa matatu.
Life has become a delicate balancing act for many traders here as they complain they are unable to fend for their families.
Mahali kama hapo mahali tuko leo hii, waliweza kuinvest through local government na sasa imekuwa ni mahali pabaya sana ambapo hapasaidiwa wanabiashara na hao wanabiashara wote wameweza kuinvest kwa hii stage. So mimi ningeomba sababu hata ni mwenye boma anajua malilio ya watoto wake wakilia sana. Sisi ni kama watoto wake, tunamlilia kama baba yetu. Aweze kutusaidia. Manake hatuna mwingine wa kulilia sahi.
Francis Njoroge, who is the chairman of Matatu Town Service Sacco, says they are ready to follow all the set guidelines by the Ministry of Health if allowed back in Nakuru town.
Sasa ni miezi 4. Watu wamekuwa tu wameweka magari nyumbani, hawajakuwa wakifanya kazi na tunaona sasa kaunti yetu itaanza kukosa pesa kwa sababu ya parking fees. Tungeomba turudi ili tuweze kulipa parking fees na mambo mengine yote kwa sababu matatu industry imeemploy watu wengi sana. Kama hapa Nakuru ni karibu watu 1800.
Reporting for TV47, I'm Nancy Kimuyu.
And our Wajir assistant chief accused of defiling a minor was today arraigned before a Garissa court. Kalmoi Shali Ahmed was charged with 3 counts of defilement against the minors and denied all the charges. Now, the hearing of his bail application is set for the 8th of this month, as the prosecution requested the court not to grant him bail, claiming that the accused could interfere with the case due to his influence in the area. The accused was remanded in custody at Garissa police station, awaiting his bail hearing.
I have no influence about anybody on the ground. I have no group who are following me up. I have no group because I'm an administrator. So my request is, Your Honor, from your honored chamber, I request a bond.
Honor, we are opposing bond. The reason being the accused person is a public servant who is currently serving as an assistant chief of Arbakeramso sublocation within Wajir County. And Your Honor, the accused person, owing to his office, is a person of influence within and beyond his sublocation. And Your Honor, since this matter was reported to the police, there has been a lot of tension and demonstration due to his influence and the position that he holds. And the demonstrations have stretched beyond his sublocation up to Wajir County headquarters.
All right, so it is that time with that segment that you've been waiting for, Matters Good Vibes. We've got two interesting stories that will keep you, motivated in a way and, celebrating some of these key figures that have taken part in, making changes amid this time that we're dealing with COVID-19. And guess who's here? We have our reporters, David Mudoka and Mwangi Maina on standby. They're the people who worked on these particular stories. And indeed, they are bringing us interesting pieces this beautiful evening. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, Linda. Good
Yes.
evening, Linda.
Good evening. And of course, we have your stories right here on standby. And this one on the Mathare Empire, quite an interesting story. I've watched it and I'm eagerly waiting to see the viewer also, commenting and also giving us feedback on the same. So most of the slums in Nairobi City are known for high-level crimes, including robbery with violence, drug abuse, theft, among others. A group of youths from Mlango Kubwa in Mathare slums are changing this perspective by bringing together young people with the talent to develop their skills as well as changing the slum narrative. So I throw it to Mwangi Maina to tell us what this story is all about as he cues it up for us to watch.
Well, thank you so much, Linda. So today I was in Mlango Kubwa in Mathare, where I met a group of youths. They're in one group, they call themselves the Mathare Empire. Apparently, these are a group of youths who have come together to develop their talents in music, in sculpturing, in drawing, in sketching and all that. It's a very interesting story. Let's have a look on it.
All right.
The building right behind me was constructed by the National Youth Service, but it was never complete. A group of youths here in Mathare, known as Mathare Empire, came together and developed this building. They did some refurbishment and now it is their hub, which they use for designs, creative writing, artistry and music production. Welcome to the beautiful village of Mathare Empire. This is Good Vibes. It goes without saying that in the slums there is a lot of talent, but most of it goes untapped. Inside this building, you will find a group of youth busy in different activities. If it is not painting, it is drawing and much more. Simply, this is a beehive of activities. We had a sit down with these young men, the Mathare Empire, to hear their story and how they came up with this group.
Passion ya muziki tu yani.